Hello and welcome to a new episode of New Gameplay Today. I'm Ben Hanson from E3 2019 and I'm joined by Imran Khan.
Howdy.
And Suriel Vazquez.
Hello.
Suriel, what are we looking at?
We're looking at Link's Awakening, the remake for 2019 on the Switch.
Let's give everybody just a moment to soak in how GD gorgeous and adorable this game is. I want to swallow Terran whole.
Wow, okay. Well, that's a personal thing, I guess.
Everything looks so good. Like, we saw that teaser before, we got the basic beats, but every new character design I see in this game, it makes my heart want to crawl out my chest.
That's a good thing? That's a good thing, right?
Yes. How did it feel to actually play it?
It feels really nice. It is still a retro game. They didn't, give it the Resident Evil HD remake treatment where you can move in an analog manner. Like the biggest thing that I noticed is that he has this new diagonal moving animation.
Right.
So instead of sliding around in four directions and then the non-cardinal directions he just slides, he has this new diagonal, and it feels weird. That's like the thing that feels weirdly retro.
Hang on, look at this. Okay, I love the dialogue with these kids, because in the original, this is the thing where they break the fourth wall, right? We're like, I don't know why I'm saying that. And the fact that they change what they say a little bit, because they explain you can stick pins on the map, like Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
But they still don't say, I don't understand why I'm saying this, which is that exact weird flavor of Link's Awakening that I love.
I think, go ahead.
I was gonna ask, thinking of controls, does this feel as snappy as Link Between Worlds did? Link Between Worlds, you could press A billion times, it would swing the sword that fast.
That's been true, I think, as far as most of the Game Boy and on 2D titles, and it feels like it is in that nature where when you're fighting an enemy, like for example the skulls, I don't remember what those are called, the ones that when you slash at them they jump away.
Sure.
You can slash at them a bunch of times as they land, and you'll hit them. So it feels good in that nature. I think the movement kind of took a little bit of getting used to, but I like it now.
Yeah.
And I think I was slightly skeptical about the art style at first.
Really?
I liked the diorama look on the environments, but the characters I think looked a little bit weird to me. But
what are you doing?
I'm totally into it now. I think part of it was looking around Nintendo's booth. They had this very elaborate series of dioramas that were basically these areas, and they were like fantastic. And that sort of drove home the point of, what they're going for is like this is a diorama look, is to make these characters look like dolls, which I wrote a whole written preview on GameInformer.com. That talks about how this look, I think, ties really well into Link's Awakening's sort of dreamlike thing, where it feels like, you're playing pretend. None of this is real. Like there's a facade going on.
Careful.
And
spoilers, careful.
It's a video game. It's not real life.
Yes.
But it ties into that a lot, where you feel like you are playing pretend with these characters in an interesting way, and so that's the fact that everyone looks like a little figure. I think really does this game justice.
In the same way as Mario 3 is like the play, yeah.
Right.
They have a real Unreal shine to it, literally the Unreal Engine shine to the character models, which I really appreciate.
Is this made in Unreal?
I'm pretty sure it is.
Really? Well, we know Yoshi was recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, whether or not it's Unreal or not, they have that modern shader look that I think adds to their kind of plastic figure kind of aesthetic, which works extremely well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it does a job that I don't think that. I think a lot of people who don't like the art style were kind of looking for something that looked like maybe Wind Waker or Link Between Worlds, and I think this does something that those art styles don't, which is to reinforce a lot of the overall aesthetic of Link's Awakening,
which is badass insanity. It is.
Yeah.
I mean, I was gonna say it's the weirdest Zelda, but I guess Majora's Mask probably takes that.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy right here. He looks so good.
He looks like he came out of Odyssey, honestly.
His name is Sail.
Sail.
Like that song where they just scream Sail.
Yes, exactly. Everyone's
and apparently you can still steal from the shop, which is...
You can. So, is that guaranteed? Because during our demo, the Nintendo representatives were like, a lot of people have tried, but no one's been able to successfully do it, so we don't know if it's in the build anymore.
Okay, it might just be Twitter hearsay, but some people have said that they've been able to do it. So.
Okay, maybe it doesn't seem as easy as it was in Link's Awakening, where you were called a thief in that game.
They were definitely teasing it in the trailer. Of he had the stuff in his hands, it was kind of walking behind.
Right.
So I can't imagine they take away such a, I don't know about beloved, but well-known part of that game.
Yes, and all the Nintendo cameos are in there. Obviously you see Chain Chomp, or Bow Wow as it's called in this game. I always think of him as Bow Wow. And so all those cameos are still going to be in there. So Kirby is going to be in this game later on, weird stuff like that. we talked about it in the Game Informer Show podcast a little bit, but we got a chance to interview Tezuka, who's the original director for this game. And we asked him like how that came to be, if he slipped in those other Nintendo cameos without permission from the original creators. And his answer was like, well, I'm the person who would have given permission for all that to begin with because I was in charge, so F it, we just put him in. Like it was my call. What are you going to do about it?
I'm the boss, don't question.
Yes. Yeah. And also, Tezuka, we asked him what his favorite Zelda game was. We're going to be posting a rapid-fire interview with him coming up probably early next week, by the way, which is very fun. But we asked him what his favorite Zelda game was, and he said Link's Awakening, of all time. And he's produced almost every Zelda game, you know?
Yeah.
But he directed this one. He also directed Link to the Past. And so I asked him why he prefers this game to Link to the Past. And it's a very techie answer. Same puzzle, right? You got to make him sneeze. Mm-hmm. But he said it was just because of the constraints of the hardware. Like he loved that the team just had to try and boil down the Zelda experience to the Game Boy, and that was such a thrill for those techies back in the early 90s that he loves it more than Link to the Past, which is crazy.
Suriel, can I ask, did you go to any like 2D segments?
I don't think I do in this demo, but eventually I did end up we tried to play it both handheld and on the TV, and I think on the handheld session we did end up doing it. So those are the segments that look the weirdest because in the original it was very weird where they still use the same Link sprites, but it was like the side-scrolling view. But here they use a different, like he looks like he actually fits in those roles, which oddly makes it look different.
This is going to be a weird question, but in those segments, did you have to use the analog stick, or did you use the D-pad?
I ended up using the analog stick for everything.
Okay.
So
does it feel like controls all right?
Yeah, I think it feels different than the overworld segments, but I think it's fine. I think the one complaint that I do have right now is that the frame rate is kind of inconsistent.
Yeah, I noticed that. Like, there's no hit when you first enter the forest.
Yeah, so like in anytime you're indoors or even in the dungeon, it runs at a pretty smooth 60, and then from there it feels like when you're on the open world, and especially on the beach, I think the frame rate kind of slows down.
Let's go ahead and jump ahead a little bit here.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say you found the magic powder.
Yeah. You found the mushroom, and now we're going to turn it into powder.
Yes, and now you're going to have the bitch converted.
It's interesting how, like, you compared it to Majora's Mask in terms of weirdness before, but how similar these two games are. Like, they're very, like, localized titles that are more about the character interactions than they are the bigger quest.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, even there's, like, specific beats of, like, giving the witch the stuff to make a new magic spell.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And it's not about saving the world. It's not about defeating Ganon. Ganon isn't in the game. The goal of the game is to wake up the windfish.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get the instruments and wake up the windfish, and whatever the consequences are for that, no one knows, right? And that's such a fun, simple, abstract concept for this weird, whimsical world. The Nintendo rep that I was with during this section, he was trying to say that this wasn't a Mario reference, the idea of Terran being that raccoon. A spoiler for what's about to come up here, right?
Yeah.
But like that's 100%, that's supposed to be Mario, right? Like not literally, but clearly the idea that it's a guy.
The character looks like Mario,
looks like Mario
and he turns into a
raccoon. Like, of course that's a reference
That's like
to Mario.
saying Malin isn't a Mario reference, because not Malin, what's your name? Her father.
In this game?
In Ocarina.
Oh, in Ocarina. Right. Like the weird, yes.
The farm.
Mario and Luigi, guys, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I'm with you.
That is 100% true, yeah.
That is true. Look at that. It's adorable.
That is actually, like, super adorable, and just everything about this game is the cutest thing that Nintendo's ever done.
That's a great question. It probably.
Like, even Kirby would have a tough time, and
some of the recent Yoshi games, yeah.
All right, let's jump ahead to the dungeon here, okay? Okay, here we are at the first dungeon. Yes. You found your way over there. Well done, Suriel. And now that we're in a dungeon, that reminds me of something new.
Yeah, so they're basically isolating the newest part of this game from the rest of it, which is you have this dungeon maker that you can, from what I understand, it feels like you're using Dampé from Ocarina of Time to build these dungeons, and the way it works is that as you defeat dungeons, basically, as you beat them, you unlock those rooms as puzzle pieces to use in making your own dungeons.
Yeah.
And it'll be gamified a little bit in that mode where they'll have challenges where it's like, hey, do this with this dungeon.
Right.
So you're building pieces out of that.
Very exciting. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of New Gameplay Today. You can subscribe to Game Informer's YouTube channel for even more videos coming out of E3 2019. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.